Days of our lives, the forgiveness, Xander and Philip's deep wounds, harsh truths, and bittersweet reconciliation in Salem. Betrayal doesn't just sting, it shatters. For Xander and Philip, two men bound by the legacy of the Kiriakis' name. Their journey from mutual ambition to open warfare and, eventually, to the tender edge of reconciliation is one marked by pain, guilt, and growth. But is forgiveness ever truly simple when the people who hurt you are the ones you once called family? Betrayal runs deep. The letter that never should have been. It all began with a letter. Vivian Alamain, never one to shy away from manipulation, informed Xander about a damning secret. The letter from Victor Kiriakis, the one that appointed Philip as co-CEO of Titan, was a complete fabrication. It wasn't just ink on paper. It was the ultimate betrayal. That forged document didn't just cost Xander his rightful position at Titan, it cut at his very identity, his pride, and his dream of finally earning Victor's approval. But the damage didn't stop there. Sarah Horton, the woman Xander had trusted above all else, knew about the forgery. And instead of standing by her husband and fighting for the truth, she chose silence. Her rationale was simple: keeping the family peace was more important than blowing everything up. But for Xander, the silence was deafening. To be deceived by Philip was one thing. He was used to underhanded tactics from rivals. But to be betrayed by Sarah? That cut deepest of all. Philip's confession, peeling back the mask as the storm grew. A surprising ray of light pierced through the chaos. Philip confessed. In an emotionally raw confrontation, Philip looked Xander in the eyes and admitted to his involvement in the forgery. There were no justifications, no sidestepping the truth. He conspired with Vivian. He'd made a choice, a terrible one, but now he was willing to own up to it. What caught Xander off guard wasn't just the confession, it was the vulnerability in Philip's words. He spoke of mental health struggles, of pressure to live up to the Kiriakis' name, of a desperate desire to regain relevance in a family that often placed legacy above love. It wasn't an excuse. It was a plea. Philip didn't deny the damage he caused, but he also didn't shy away from it. He admitted that in his attempt to climb back into Victor's good graces, he lost sight of what truly mattered, the people around him. Xander's firestorm of emotion, rage, resentment, and reflection. For a man like Xander, forgiveness is no easy feat. Loyalty means everything to him. So to watch his dreams vanish because of a forged letter while his own wife kept the truth hidden was nearly unbearable. In the days following Philip's confession, Xander pulled away from everyone. He stopped returning calls. He distanced himself emotionally from Sarah, unsure if he could ever trust her again. And Philip? Just the sound of his name made Xander clench his fists. But as time passed, the anger began to morph. It didn't disappear, but it evolved into something more complex: disappointment, sadness, and ultimately a desire to understand. What haunted Xander most wasn't just the betrayal, it was the realization that Philip's confession was sincere. That maybe, just maybe, his rival-turned-brother had truly meant no harm. And if that were true, then maybe there was a road, however narrow and winding, back to peace. The breaking point, a chance at redemption. Philip, determined not to let guilt consume him, returned to Salem once again, this time not with schemes, but with humility. He didn't beg. He didn't deflect blame. He simply asked for a chance. "I know I don't deserve it," he told Xander, "but I want to try. I want to earn back your trust, even if it takes the rest of my life." It was a moment of reckoning. For Xander, it wasn't just about forgiving Philip. It was about reclaiming control over his own story. To stay angry would be easy, but to let go, that would be strength. And so, after months of emotional warfare, Xander made his decision. He forgave him. It wasn't an instant absolution. It was a quiet nod, a handshake that lingered. A rare, unspoken understanding between two men who had seen each other at their absolute worst, and still chose to move forward. Sarah's role: healing old wounds, of course. The journey wouldn't be complete without addressing the fracture between Xander and Sarah. Her silence had caused nearly as much pain as Philip's deception. But when she finally sat down with Xander, she spoke with a depth and clarity that softened his hardened heart. "I didn't want to lose you," she confessed. "But in trying to keep the family together, I ended up pushing you away." In those words, Xander found echoes of his own mistakes. Times when he'd made selfish choices in the name of love or protection. Perhaps now the two of them could rebuild, not by ignoring the cracks in their relationship, but by acknowledging them. Rebuilding the bond. From rivals to brothers, forgiveness is never the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter. For Xander and Phillip, the road ahead won't be without bumps. There will be moments of mistrust, misunderstandings, and painful reminders of what was lost. But for now, they are united by something stronger than ambition or legacy. A commitment to rebuild. They've started spending time together again, not just at Titan board meetings, but in small moments that feel more real than any corporate success ever did. A shared drink, a sarcastic jab, a genuine laugh. And perhaps most importantly, they've begun to see each other not as enemies, but as flawed, complex men who are trying against all odds to do better. What we can learn, the power of redemption in family. For viewers of Days of Our Lives, this story is more than just soap opera drama. It's a reflection of something deeply human, the pain of betrayal, the weight of regret, and the power of forgiveness. Xander's journey shows us that anger, while justified, doesn't have to define us. That healing takes time, but it starts with a single step. And Phillip reminds us that even our worst decisions don't have to be the final word. In a world where relationships are often discarded at the first sign of trouble, their story proves that true reconciliation is possible when both parties are willing to face the truth, feel the pain, and choose to grow. Conclusion: the best path forward. So, what is the best path to reconciliation for Xander and Phillip? Transparency. No more secrets. From here on out, their bond must be built on honesty. Time. Healing doesn't happen overnight. They'll need patience as they rebuild trust. Shared purpose. Working together at Titan can be more than business. It can be a foundation for rebuilding brotherhood. Forgiveness that's earned. Phillip must continue to show that he's changed. And Xander must allow space for that change to be real. Their story isn't over. But for now, the storm has passed. The skies may still be gray, but there's hope on the horizon. And in Salem, that's the greatest miracle of all.